Thank you, Madam Speaker. A few years ago, the Oregonian did a series of articles investigating the problems in Oregon, severe problems of elder abuse. And what often happens is when this kind of investigation starts in the press, finger-pointing ensues. What happened in Oregon was that the now director of the Department of Human Services, Erin Kelly Seal, started taking responsibility and started joining in the investigation. And then what happened was in this chamber, the representative from Milwaukee started trying to get to the bottom of the problem and to solve it, and no fingers were pointed. And what happened then was the creation of the Oregon Elder Abuse Work Group coming out of the Adult Protective Services team that the director had started. And from that group came a bill we passed in February of 2012, House Bill 4084. As you well know, it received bipartisan support and was signed by the governor. It increased time to prosecute crimes against seniors. It eliminated expungement for convictions of elder abuse. It provided vital tools for law enforcement during abuse investigations. And recently, in a hearing, we heard from a detective from Forest Grove about how this law that we passed in 2012 actually made it possible for him to get one of the bad guys because the statute of limitations had not expired, and he found the name in another case that he was working on, fearing that it would be too old, and it wasn't, and it was because we voted this bill out. That's just one example of the good that came from this bill. Lastly, we created the Resident Safety Review Council, which was staffed by Bethany Walmsley, who's from the Oregon Patient Safety Committee. Now, this task force, this council, I should say, spent 4 months doing such things as going through boxes 1 page at a time, trying to actually tally how many abuse reports there were in the state of Oregon versus adverse events. Adverse events are things that happen, that you could call them accidents, but they don't rise to the level of elder abuse. Getting that count right, getting that distinction right is part of the work that we've done. Now you have another bill in front of you. I don't know if it's the son of, but let's call it the offspring of the elder abuse prevention bill that I just spoke of. There are a number of things in the bill that I'm going to ask my co-carrier and my co-leader, my co-chair of the task force to describe to you going forward. But I wanted to again remind you of the background that we can be proud of before we move forward with this bill that you'll see before you today. There are many folks on this floor that have been helpful. I already mentioned the good representative from Milwaukee. But on another aspect of this, sort of a long-term care worker passport, we need to give some kudos to the representative from North and Central Eugene, who, by the way, was not very happy with what she chose as her moniker, and I don't blame her. But she's a wonderful representative. So before I turn it over to the representative from the heart of Dublin, Belfast, and Junction City, I think that's actually her moniker. I just want to thank this body for their work and their support of the previous bill, and remind you that this bill is a perfect fit for the next chapter in what we need to do to make sure we're doing everything to protect the most vulnerable in Oregon, our elders. Thank you, Madam Speaker.